like to ask about the food threshold. According po sa ating NEDA, a family of 5 members need at least 9,581 pesos per month or about 64 pesos per person per day to meet basic food needs. Ngayon po, during the Senate budget hearing, our good NEDA secretary said that individuals who spend 64 pesos below for 3 meals a day are considered food poor. And the computation for the basket was from the recommended food items from the DOH and the Food Nutrition Research Institute. NEDA merely gave the numbers. I understand po that our good Secretary Rex Gatchalian has been interviewed on the matter regarding po yung ng methodology ng ating PSA. And yung statement po ng NEDA that a Filipino who spends more than 64 pesos a day for food is no longer considered food poor. Now, given that these programs use the same data gathered and provided by the PSA, may we hear on record DSWD's view on this vis-a-vis the agency's implementation of the government's anti-poverty program such as yung 4P'S, Supplemental Feeding Program, and Walang Gutom 2027?
Madam Chair, first of all, let me put on record that the DSWD and our social workers agree that 21 pesos is clearly not enough. That's for the record. But I'd like to also assure the committee that that is not the only indicator that we use when we do targeting for the different programs. We use both monetary and non-monetary indicators in trying to identify our beneficiaries. Madam Chair, case in point, last year in the budget season, we kept on talking about the Dswd, or the Social Welfare and Development Indicator. We kept on saying that if we would use the plain data of the proxy means, at face value without adding a human dimension to it, then we would have disenfranchised close to 1.4 million 4P'S beneficiaries. Madam Chair, I keep on repeating this and I will not hesitate to repeat it again. I'd like to thank the good Congressman Tulfo who who initiated the move to look into the list of the 4P'S. Sa kanya ho nagsimula yun, tinuloy lang ho namin kasi naunawaan niya nung pumasok siya doon na may mga nadidisenfranchise na membro ng komunidad na hindi naman dapat. So kung gagamitin lang namin pure data from PSA and NEDA, then they remain faceless. In the department, these are not just numbers, we put faces to them. And that's why we put non-monetary indicators like the Dswd into play, where it looks at social adequacy, the overall well-being, yung tahanan ng benepisyaryo, yung accessibility niya to healthcare, access niya to education. In fact, we put a greater weight to that than just the numbers given to us by PSA. In the Dswd, 70% of the rating system goes into the non-monetary indicators and only 30% is given to the data provided by PSA. So we would like to assure the committee that in DSWD, we look at programs and targeting in the lens of a social worker, hindi lang in the lens of an economist or the numbers from PSA. That's the beauty of this department. I think we're the only department that can tell you that may human factor in targeting all the time.
Madam Chair, nais ko pong pasalamatan ang ating DSWD Secretary, pati na po ang DSWD family sa kanilang effort po sa pag-implementa ng ating anti-poverty programs. Ang aking last manifestation lang po before I end my interpellation is that hanggang saan po kaya natin pwedeng asahan ng mga ahensya ng gobyerno na umaasa sa PSA data sa pagdisenyo at sa pagdisenyo at implementasyon ng mga programang layong wakasin ng kahirapan. So I commend the DSWD for not limiting themselves to the numbers that are being presented. Of course, numbers don't tell the whole story. It's very important po talaga na i-empower natin ang ating social workers at babaan po talaga natin ang ating mga benepisyaryo. So I laud po the department for those efforts and yun lang naman po. Maraming salamat.